Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another spicy weekly geek. This week we got the Whalers. I'm one of the Whalers. The secret delay, Kirkland Patzer.
Hey, I'm Dylan Muss.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't caught on now, that's our duo name, the Whalers, in honor of the great and powerful Dishonored franchise. Go check out the Arcane Retro on the side quest feeds.
Please do.
Yeah, we got some juice to unravel here today, which should be a fun episode. Before we get into all of that, just a couple of quick things to shout out. We have a spicy side quest that just dropped, which also included the Whalers. That was back to back of Monday and Tuesday of Dylan Muss and Kirkland Patzer, the dynamic duo. We talked about a lot of fun stuff in there, just kind of games we've been playing. No like set. I'm kind of taking your spiel. I know it's your show. I apologize. I'll let you.
Yeah,
plug it there.
It's not my show. It's our show.
Yeah.
So yeah, please go ahead. No, it was a really fun episode. I think we went on some good tangents. I made a very potentially embarrassing confession in that episode, but you got to go listen to it to find out what that confession was. So there's your tease.
I found out Stellar Blade's getting a sequel, so that was great.
Yeah.
It was fun there. We just finished off Last of Us season 2. That show is complete. The story's not complete, but so far the season's complete, and our reviews for that season are complete. They're all on the feeds. We also just dropped a Mission Impossible 8, which is not what it's called. It's called Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. That is closing off the chapter potentially of the Mission Impossible franchise. And
quick question on that one: Am I gonna have to watch that before Golden Geeks?
It's funny.
Is it punching
we're
any
talking
categories?
about that in the review. I don't want to spoil all of our thoughts because go check out the review for all of that. I was the most positive on it, and Travis and Taylor were in a different category of thoughts.
Sure.
It was a fun discussion, but there was definitely some really good positives of like sequences to shout out. So we talked about some
maybe
potential
some best
scenes for sure. But we were talking about that on like, is this worthy to force Dylan to have to watch this? And we didn't think so, but maybe. I honestly,
I will happily YouTube those two.
I was just
gonna
say
that.
Just gonna say that.
Because I assume at least one of them is like an action scene, so it's like I don't need to have the character investment. I can just watch that, right?
I think there's two there's a lot of good stuff in there, but like for me, two phenomenal sequences that are like worth talking about.
Nice.
I think one will make it on the what would I call it, the nomination category. And for that, I think that's a YouTube worthy scene. So
nice.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But in honor of Mission Impossible, we just wrapped up the Mission Impossible retrospective. We covered every movie except for Dead Reckoning Part 1, but we also already have a review for that, so that's on the feed. We're actually going to be recording our rankings for that, closing off the chapter completely this week, so that's going to be on the feeds. What else we got? I think that's kind of it for shows. Like we wrapped up Andor a couple weeks ago. You, of course, that's a little bit more of a while ago, but all of that stuff's on the feeds. I don't think I'm really missing any main things. So I think with all that being said, we're gonna jump right into it. And if you're listening to this and you're like, why didn't he talk about the Patreon? I'm gonna bring that up later because that's just how I'm feeling today on this fine Tuesday afternoon.
Gotta mix it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan Muss, we got some topics. I haven't talked about things that I've been watching lately, and I've kind of been itching for that. So, like, do you have anything that you want to talk about for things we've been watching?
There's one show, The Rehearsal, that me and Travis have both been watching, so I think I'll maybe save that, and he and I can have a little mini discussion on the next newscast or weekly geek that we're both on. But love that show. There's nothing like it in the world. It is a one of a kind thing, and it's almost like the Nathan Fielder verse of it all, of like it really satisfying if you watch the first season, if you watch Nathan For You, if you've seen the Curse, even like there's just, it's like it's so rewarding as someone who's watched like everything he's done. So I love that. But I'll talk about that more in depth maybe with Travis. And then other than that, really just the studio. I've been watching that, but I'm not done it yet. I have like 2 or 3 episodes left. That's the Seth Rogen kind of parody on like a what a film studio is like. That show's amazing, super super funny, very creative. Every episode like has its very special flavor to it. It's not just every episode is very distinct in that way, which I'm really enjoying. So that's really really fun. But I think those are kind of the big highlights for me. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's funny. I keep forgetting that the what's it called again? What you just talked about, the Seth Rogen one. What's the name of that one? The Studio. Yeah, I keep forgetting that's a TV series. I always I'm like, yeah, I gotta throw that movie on sometime, and it's on Apple. Is that where it is?
Apple.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'll have to cross that one off the list at some point, because I've only heard great things from it, and I keep getting like little scenes or something just pop up on my feeds, and the cast is kind of like surprising too. Like I forget about some big names that are in there. Yeah, nice. Well, what I've been watching is a lot of Mission Impossible, so go check out the retrospective for all of my thoughts there. But the big juicy one to talk about is Dexter. I've been rewatching Dexter, and I made it all the way to, I'm on season 4 now, episode 2. For those of you that are familiar with that season or the show in general, that's the Trinity killer event, which is a big. Have you seen Dexter before?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, yeah, nice. You have like a lot of, like, what's the word I would say, like quick access memories when it comes to the show. Like, are you like Travis, where you're like, season 2 episode 9, I remember this dialogue from between these two characters? Yeah,
definitely not that. But as someone who has I feel like my memory's gotten a lot worse for things in the GeekVerse era, which is weird. You would think that like we talk about these things, we review them, but I feel like I just see so much more than I used to before. So it's just hard for me to keep track of it all. And I also feel like there's something weird about like when you do a podcast and you talk about a movie, it's almost like you're taking your thoughts and you're like, they're leaving your body is something I find. And then, I usually for Golden Geeks, they stick around, they linger a little bit, but after that, things just flee in my mind. So my memory for specific episodes and things is not great, but I feel like Dexter is a show that's one of my all-time favorite shows, but not one I've rewatched since, it was airing. I didn't watch it from the beginning, but like caught up by the last couple seasons and was watching it live, but I've never revisited it. So yeah, it gets a little fuzzy for sure, but I feel like I do have a lot of really strong memories of that show, and definitely, that season you're on currently is an all-time great one. No doubt.
No, absolutely. I completely agree with that thought on like, the more we talk about these things, you think I would just have them like, I can pull them out of my yin yang whenever I need to, which I can sometimes. Sometimes the randomly just pops in my head, but because we just talk about so many things, it's like an ocean of things to pull from, and that little fluff on the water might just be in the wrong side when you want to pull it and then yeah. Shouts out D-Toll. He said he just finished Dexter season 2 on my first watch through. So that's really
what a treat.
I'm glad that you said that, because I potentially might have spoiled some things in my thought. It's a really old show, so of course people might be like, wow, you can talk about the show. The show's been up forever. But, in honor of the great D-Toll, I'm not going to do that. But I hope you're enjoying it, D-Toll, because
keep us posted in the Discord as you're going through
absolutely,
that, D-Toll. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
We'll do a Dexter chat room.
I think we might still have one from like whatever the last season was of that show. It might still be up there actively.
It might be. We usually recycle them. So it's like if you go to like the top of like the Last of Us chat room, it's like, I don't know. There's like some Star Wars stuff discussed in there, so they definitely cross over there. But yeah, with all that being said, I'm on season 4 now, the Trinity Killer season, and I'm not gonna detail everything that's been going on because it's a show that's been out for a while, and I feel like the biggest thing for me on this rewatch is actually how much I forgot about. I thought the Bay Harbor Butcher stuff, which is the season 2 that D-Toll just finished, like I thought that came way later in the show. There even like the season 3 stuff with Miguel Prado, like I feel like I thought that came way later in the show also. I also just didn't really remember like everyone kind of just I don't know, interact with each other, or just like certain character like certain side characters get introduced in the show. Like I thought they just come way later, and then it's like, oh, right, there's Detective Quinn. He's just in the show already.
The quick hack for Dexter is like, was it awesome? Then it was probably in the first 4 seasons in terms of your memory of it, right? Because then everything after that gets a bit funky. Off the top of my head, now that you mention it, it's like I don't really know what happened. Like I kind of forget what happens in season 5. Like, is that the Lumen stuff and with like that going
on? I think
or
so.
Is that 6
I don't really remember.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Because I first watched the show in high school, which I feel like I'm a young buck, but I'm definitely not when I look at the dates and how long it's been since I graduated high school.
That thing was crushing it on Netflix, I think, back in the day. So
absolutely. Yeah. And I, like you said, like this was one of my favorite shows. I still think that, but I feel like I'm being pretty critical now on the second viewing. I think certain things.
Okay.
I don't want to say they're like aging differently, but like maybe I just saw like it being a perfect show with no flaws. And Travis is gonna be listening to this, and he's gonna be just like tearing me apart. 'Cause, like it is a perfect show. Him and I have gone back and forth on that off cast. But no, I think it is still really great. I think Michael C. Hall is phenomenal. Deb is really good. She's a very flawed. I mean, they're all flawed characters, but like for Deb in particular, I feel like she has a
Dexter,
lot
no
of,
flaws. He's a perfect guy. He's
he's a
nothing
moral
wrong with
serial
it.
killer. You know,
Yeah.
he's a good guy.
He goes by the code.
Yeah. So many characters though in this. Pretty much all the characters are like very flawed characters, and
Yeah.
it makes for interesting story writing. But I just think there's certain things and like repeat things that characters do that is just so annoying, and it's nothing new to like just specifically Dexter. I feel like many shows do this, especially ones that go on for many seasons, but it's just bugging me. I think as I'm going through it, and yeah, I definitely don't think this is a perfect show by any means, even the first 3 seasons that I've been on.
Okay.
Season 1, I think it's phenomenal. I still have some issues with it. Season 2, I thought was better than season 1 until I got introduced to Lila again, or reintroduced to Lila again. Detoll, what do you think about Lila? Because I fucking hate Lila. I hate that character so much.
Whoa.
Maybe she's important for the overall situation of what's going on with the story and Dexter's progression, but yeah, I hate Lila. So as soon as she was introduced, I just boom, tanked that season for me. Season 3, there's a lot of fun stuff, but again, it's just like Dexter's such a stupid guy sometimes with how careful he's supposed to be. So no, I'm really enjoying the rewatch. It's been like kind of low priority. It's like when I have time, I'll throw on an episode or two. But I've kind of been plugging away at a decent pace. Like I think last time I was on a Weekly Geek, I was with Travis, and I was talking to him about it. So yeah, no, it's been fun. I am gonna finish it. I think I've never finished all of Dexter before. Yeah, there you go. Me and my girlfriend definitely hated Lila. Yeah, she's an unlikable character.
She's a drama causer, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. They do a really weird thing at the end. Well, I guess Details finished it, so he now knows. They like keep Lila around, and then it's like, oh, she's gonna pop up later on in the show at some point, and then it's like an epilogue that happens in the same episode, and like she gets dispatched, and it's just like,
yeah, I don't remember that.
Why did this even happen? And there's a weird fast travel thing that Dexter does that just doesn't make any sense. So
don't get Taylor started on that. He hates when fast travel happens in TVs and movies. Yeah. When you were in high school, did you envision that someday you're like, I want to live in an apartment like Dexter has? Was that ever a thing? That I feel like back in the day, I was always like, that's the perfect apartment for a bachelor. Like I will be someday.
Yeah. I don't think for Dexter. I've definitely had that, like for watching shows.
It's not
like
a huge apartment.
Loft.
Like it's pretty humble, but it's kind of like it's got everything you need.
It's
nice,
got a great
kitchen
view.
to living room setup. Yeah.
Beautiful view of the ocean, and like it's
really easy to hide secrets in. Clearly.
Yeah. Like, he probably has the ring in there at some point in some envelope that we don't even know about. The one ring to rule them all.
I thought you meant the horror movie for a second, and I was like, I don't get the reference, and then it came together.
I've never seen that movie, so I'm not pulling that one. What does he say? I kind of saw it coming, then penning it on Dokes, but at the same time, how they did it was great. Yeah, Dokes was phenomenal. I think Dokes was really fun. So yeah, he was.
I've never seen that actor in anything else, and that is such a shame. Like, put him in a Tarantino movie or something. You know what I mean?
You have seen him in something. I'm like 90% sure. I have seen a certain movie many times. It's one of my favorite childhood movies, and I think it still holds up. The Great National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. Have you seen this movie, Dylan?
No. I have
you haven't seen the first National? Oh my god!
Is that surprising to you? I feel like that's a perfect slot of like
I guess not.
Classic movie that Dylan hasn't seen. National Treasure.
I guess not.
And I think that's come up before, but yeah. I try not to make my big holes in movies that I've seen super known. Sometimes when people are talking about something they love and I haven't seen it, I just shy away into a corner. But it's hard when I'm here on a Weekly Geek and it's just me and you. I'm in the ring. I can't deny my lack of viewing there.
Yeah, absolutely. You get exposed on this program. That's what we do here. But no, he is like a very nothing FBI agent in that movie. And at some point, you just like
still
he's like chasing.
Still a cop.
Yeah, he's still a cop. He looks the exact same. He's just as jacked. He's got the same mustache. I don't think he has a single line. But he is in there, and I have seen that movie so many times, and I've even like rewatched it not too long ago, and I'm watching Dexter right now. You think it would have caught, like I would have seen it? No, completely over my head. Taylor was watching it, and then he informed me, which was kind of a mind blow moment, just with how much I've seen that, and how much I've seen. Like I haven't rewatched Dexter until now, but like the amount of times I've seen Dokes on memes, you know, surprise motherfucker.
Meme.
Like,
yeah, I remember those. Some fries, motherfucker. I don't know what the other ones were, but I remember there's a million variations on that. Yeah,
there's many of them. So I that's a recognizable face. And I did not. And apparently he's not acting anymore. He just kind of he did a little stint, and that's that. Travis was telling me that. So if it's wrong, blame Travis. But yeah, and then last thing Detail said here is Crazy Mike from Breaking Bad is in there. Never seen anything else. Yeah, I had the same thought also. I was like, holy shit, there's Mike, and he looks exactly the same as he does in Breaking Bad. But yeah, no, that's what I was trying to say. I am committed. I'm gonna finish the show. We're entering the Dexter MCU essentially, the Dexter cinematic the DCU.
Yeah.
The proper.
I think we're already there.
Yeah. So I'm happy I'm doing my homework here. I'm gonna know going into all these other variations of the shows. Yeah. So
nice.
That's my Dexter. What I've been watching, and nothing really else beyond that. I've kind of been away this last week. So
that'll keep you busy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hour-long episodes.
And it sounds like you're really giving it your full attention. I feel like on a rewatch sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to play a video game while I do this, or I'm going to, file my taxes. But it sounds like you're in there and you are, watching this show.
Yeah, it's like, like I'll throw it on the iPad while I'm cooking or something, and if I happen to step away.
Okay. That's where I feel like you do most of your TV watching these days. When you're
absolutely. Well, probably like 50%.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That is a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a cooker. That's what I do. I go in the kitchen and like overcooked, run around, but I still have time to watch my shows.
Not a chef, but a cooker. So. Okay.
Yeah, I never thought I was an iPad kid or anything like that. Shay keeps trying to give me that moniker because I do like to just watch things while I'm like folding laundry, cooking, dishes. Like I just like to consume content while I'm doing that. Guess that makes me
I'm
an
a
iPad
bit more
kid.
podcasty, which is easier because I don't have to like look at a screen.
Yep.
But I've been doing a lot of that for sure.
Yeah. There you go. And Detail says anyone can cook. I don't know if that's a slight at me or anything like that, but I'll take it that way. So that's fighting words, Detail. You better.
I think it's a reference to Ratatouille, which I actually did watch last week, which is
nice.
Weird timing. I didn't feel the need to bring it up, but I still love Ratatouille. It's great.
Yeah, Ratatouille's great. I love that movie. All right, that was a good little roundup there.
Roundup.
Yeah, maybe we'll take a quick little ad break before we get into the juice, and then we'll just save us more time to cover what we have to cover. And one of the things that I was excited to bring up earlier is the great Patreon, which is the single greatest place to support us. You get everything early, exclusive. We have different tiers in there. At our highest tier, we got our Patreon producers, which is Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, Good God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, Charlie Rendell, and Cocktail Clay. They are at the highest tier of the Patreon support. They are what's keeping the lights on. My lights are looking a little dim right now, but that's on purpose. And that is because of just the support that we've gotten through all of our Patrons, all the listeners, everything, all the support that we've gotten.
I'm about to get a new microphone. Anyone who doesn't like my mic quality, well, because of you, about to get a new upgrade here. So, and probably soon after there, Kirkland's webcam, I think, could use one of those as well for the YouTube viewers as well.
Yes, absolutely. You're going to be sounding silky smooth with that new mic. I'm excited to hear your.
I'm going to sound like Dokes.
Sexy radio.
I probably shouldn't say that. I'm not going to sound like Dokes. I can't keep up with him and his beautiful voice, but I'll try my best.
He's got a powerful voice to him, that man there. But so all of the ads that you're going to be listening to, you could not be listening to them if you join the Patreon. Because
you could have snapped them away.
Free. Yeah, you can snap them away. And since you didn't, or if you're listening to this on the Patreon, you're going to jump right into it. But since you didn't support the Patreon, that sounds a little aggressive. I apologize. We're going to head to our first ad break here, and we'll be right back to unravel some interesting stuff. So we'll be right back. All righty. Dylan Muss.
Hey.
We got some juice flowing in the nether realms, in the sphere of Avengers land and MCU, and specifically the big movies, the big title movies. When I say big movies in the MCU, what do you think of?
Big movies in the MCU? I'm thinking I was about to say MCU, which is a bad answer. I'm going to say Avengers, I'm gonna say not Thunderbolts because apparently that's bombing. I'm gonna say Spider-Man. I'm gonna say
Okay.
Thor. That's what comes to mind for me.
Ooh,
Top
okay.
three, if I had to say.
There's some good head names on there.
Okay.
I will give you full credit because you said the big A word, which is Avengers. Big team collab ones. You did mention
Yeah.
Thunderbolts, which is kind of bombing right now. They're the new Avengers, so give them some time. Maybe the next movie they'll really
Yeah,
pop
that
off at the
marketing
box
campaign
office.
didn't work out for them well, did it?
No.
Drop in the Thunderbolts and pasting the new Avengers over top.
Yeah. Do you think that was always their plan, like going into it?
I think so because it happened
Yeah.
really quick. So it's not like
It
they were
did.
like, "Oh, box office bombed. Let's do this." I think that was always. I think that that's why they put the asterisks in the title. I think was to get people wondering and
Good
then
point.
drop it. It did happen quicker than I expected, but I guess
Yeah.
if you don't have a big opening weekend, you're done in this industry. So
I feel like
usually.
I pretty much give MCU a pass on like maybe not day like one spoilers on like here's this article on why all these characters are dead now, or like something like that, or like this where like you get the poster, New Avengers. I don't think it was like next day, but like definitely by like the end of the weekend it seemed like it was already there.
Yeah, it was
I
quick.
feel like these
for sure.
MCU movies, they just have a lot to be progressing a story forward. At least that's how we would be hoping the story's going. And I feel like I give them a pass on like, you know what? If you didn't watch it right away, then that's on you. I don't know. I was gonna say something else, and then I just kind of lost my train of thought there. So yeah, New Avengers with the asterisks. I don't love the marketing what they did for that, but it's very minor on the list of grievances I have. But no, I'm dancing around the topic here. We got
Mm-hmm.
Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. The big news here, though, is that it's delayed till December 2026 and 2027, of course. First one being Doomsday. We're not getting Secret Wars before Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Wars will be the 2027, Doomsday 2026. Do you think these dates are sticking, Dilmas?
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. So did Doomsday a 6 month delay? I assume that Secret Wars also was in that like May-ish slot, and therefore also got like a 6-7 month delay to the
I
December
believe you're right.
realm.
I'll
I
double
suppose
check
to give
here.
it that like full year, which makes sense. They did that for Infinity War and Endgame. Yeah, I think those dates are sticking because I believe it was just recently, or maybe even at this current moment, they're filming it. Like right now, who knows? Chris Hemsworth could be on set right now, whipping out the coolest line that we're gonna hear now in December of next year. But yeah, I think that's where when we initially knew that it was going into filming, like kind of around this time of year, it seemed like a little bit bold to assume the movie's going to come out next year. We assume there's a lot of visual effects that need to get going on there, especially with the state of VFX in MCU stuff. It's been a little rough lately, so I think this delay makes a lot of sense. Just gives a bit more time for the production. Also gives them time in the event that they need to do reshoots, which has also been very common lately. Hopefully, we have to do less of that because it seems like they're pretty set on their team making this, and I don't even know, the script kind of seems like it kind of comes together pretty quick and changes a lot on the fly too. So
Yeah.
I think just for the MCU machine, the VFX, which takes a long time, and then like possible reshoots, which those two things seem pretty common that they need a lot of time for those things. That I think this delay makes a lot of sense, and I'm not even really that salty about it. We're still getting it next year, so it's fine. Yeah, so I think these delays do, and then the Secret Wars one just kind of comes in result of that as well. I don't know when they'd be filming that, but just to give it a bit more of time to let Doomsday just sink in and all that, and people to see it before the next one comes out. So yeah, I think these delays are pretty unsurprising, I suppose. And I'm not too bummed about them because it's not a huge delay. It's not like Blade that just gets kicked into the Shadow Realm continually. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that for sure, by the way, anyone that's out there. I'm not some crazy scooper, but that's just my feeling. I don't think I'm ever going to see a Mahershala Ali Blade movie.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool take. That's not, there's no hot take to be found. Yeah. It's possible.
Cool, like the ice cream in the freezer. Yeah, so I did check. They were both 7 months delayed, respectively. Yeah, I'm with you here. The delay didn't really have much effect on me. Like I felt so much more pain the first time I got the Dune 2 delay, and it wasn't just because I had that my movie draft that year. It was just I was so excited to get in there. It felt like we had a long wait from the first one, and then I was just really bummed to get that delay. What what was another one? Oh, the Batman. That was the other one that really just
Yeah,
hurt
that's
getting.
another one that keeps getting launched down that road. And it seems like
Yeah,
it's a bit more
absolutely.
solid now, but still is sad just because it feels a little less tangible, whereas this still
Yeah.
feels like within reach, I guess, right?
Yeah, I feel like the initial shock of the Batman stuff was hurting, and then once I like found out a little bit more of like just well, I don't know detail wise, but just heard it's like a per- personal health thing that Matt Reeves is
Sure.
going through. So it kind of softened the blow a little bit. It's like okay, yeah, get healthy, focus on yourself. But I'm gonna survive if I don't get Batman 2. Although I do hope that I get it nonetheless. But yeah, for whatever reason, this one I just think because it's not like I just had like an Infinity War type event where it's like a big cliffhanger. Like I can't wait to get in that next Avengers. Like we're in a natural uh, epoch change, I'll call it, of the
Oh,
MCU
okay.
realm of like the new Avengers crew, and like this being kind of a part one and a part two with Doomsday and then Secret Wars. Like that kind of feels like a collective story. So I'm okay having a delay of both of them as opposed to like I get the first one and then the second one just gets delayed or has issues. And 7 month delay, it also just maybe allows them to really smooth out some rough edges if they feel they need to or whatever. It's just more time to, in my mind, perfect the content there. And yeah, hopefully that is the case. Hopefully we're just blown away by it. The
Yeah,
December.
you don't think it's anything to do with like wanting to slot another movie or show or whatever before it in terms
Mm,
of like story setup. That didn't even really cross my mind. I just think
no.
this is more of a production side of things.
Yeah, I'm completely with you there. Yeah, just because we haven't really like we don't have anything like known that's set up to like be in that slot, and it feels kind of
Yeah.
weird if they just oh I have a great idea to introduce this character, and it would be perfect if we just slotted them in. Like that just seems like they're picking up so many random pieces to put that like out there. So that
So
seems a little
Tinfoil
bit
had
less
it though. Like,
likely.
what if it is like Thunderbolts bombed? That was a big setup for the next Avengers clearly because
Mm-hmm.
those people are all on the back of the chairs.
True.
Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a consideration of like we want to get something out that's a little bit more hype leading up as a prequel, as a preamble because Thunderbolts didn't reach enough
Right.
people, and maybe it'll blow up on streaming. But even then, I don't think that's what they want.
Yeah. No. I mean, if you're right, I'm gonna recall this date and give you your just due on the tinfoil hat theory. But no, I think it's just the production side of things there. And in terms of the release date, like December for Avengers movie, I don't know. Like that just feels odd to me. Obviously I'm just conditioned for like what Infinity War Endgame were. I believe those were like spring releases or summer. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm going back, and even the first two Avengers are also in May. So that's this will be the first time that they're not in May.
It feels like such a more summer event as opposed to like a holiday, Christmassy. Roads are crazy, cold, just miserable, like that type of sphere. But maybe that's gonna be the vibe of the movie. Doomsday isn't like a
Yeah,
happy, thoughtful title. I'm expecting a lot of cannon fodder gonna be getting chopped up by the Doomster that is Robert Downey Jr. And yeah,
and I'm looking at the Mandalorian movie that because was supposed to be around Avengers, right? So that is still in May. So maybe that's
completely
where the
forgot about that.
reasoning is of like obviously it's been a while since we had a Star Wars movie, but those were often coming out in that December slot, except for like Solo, I think came out in May, right? But those were
Hmm.
like the big winter Christmas movies, and so I feel like maybe it's a Disney thing of trying to fill that slot in a
Right.
way. So maybe it's two things. One, it gives more space for Mandalorian, which is I think a huge help for them. But then also still puts them in like a time when they know they've crushed it with those trilogy movies that absolutely destroyed at the box office, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And like even just like merchandising, like it always would succeed, but like
Yeah.
get that leading up to Christmas, like even just like because they usually release some stuff like that before the title even comes out. I think it's going to be just prime for all of that. But yeah, I believe there's many different factors on why that window is that. But I think you made a good point there of just for Disney, like wanting to have something in that slot. And usually Star Warsy type stuff isn't in that realm, but we're already getting that in May. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what else? Oh, and then the other thing in that time period, of course, is Dune 3 supposedly has the same release date right now as Doomsday. The question that my little note here is telling me is, will that date change for Dune 3? The first time I read this, I didn't really like I just quickly was looking at the dates for Avengers and Dune, and I'm like, well, honestly, Doomsday could get moved also. But like that was just my initial thoughts. Like now that I've like really stewed on it, like it just makes sense to have it in that time window for all the reasons we've kind of already just listed. But just because of these big movies like Dune 2, that was a big delay that hurt me. And then I believe that was pretty much around that December time. So I don't think it was December. I think it might have been November, the initial Dune 2 release window, and then of course it got pushed back to February. I hope I'm getting that right, or I'm just pulling dates out of my derriere. Yeah, I could easily see Dune 3 moving, and not even just because it's trying to avoid Doomsday. I think that is a wise decision to try and avoid it, because like they're both just big Goliath movies. Of course, we've seen in the past the Barbenheimer situation where it can be mutually beneficial for those two two big movies releasing at the same time. But I just think Dune is such a big piece of it's like a artistical egg. It's an artisanal egg, and they put great care and attention to detail when it comes to that project, and I think that they want to do it right. And wow, I'm on a brain fart here. Is Denis still a part of this, or is he bowing out here?
I think he's still in there, right?
Yeah. Is he still in there? Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, maybe someone in the comments can, or maybe I'll quickly Google that after.
I think the plan originally was he just wanted to do 2, but I think he's in the 3rd one now.
Okay, that's awesome for many reasons, but just Dune 2 got a delay. I can easily see Dune 3. D-Toll, our guy in the chat here. There he goes. Confirmation.
Guy in the chat, guy in the chair.
If he's wrong, blame D-Toll, not me.
No, I'm not going to say that. Just to give you some other context, so we have in December 11th, of course, 2026, next year, Jumanji 3 is on the December 11th. The week after, the 18th, that's when Dune, Avengers, and then also Ice Age 6 is in there. So Ice Age 6, different audience perhaps, but still potentially risky. And then the week after that, the 23rd, is Shrek 5. So it's
holy hell,
a busy month, but I feel like the play for Dune is just move it up 1 week. You go on the same weekend as Jumanji, or maybe even the week before that, do 2 weeks earlier. Gives you a bit more runway, separates you a bit. Either way, I think, a lot of people go and see movies over Christmas break and stuff. A lot of people have time for that stuff. So even if it doesn't have a huge first weekend, it'll probably still have like a good December all in all. But yeah, I think that would maybe be the move. Just shift up a week or two. So it's actually the opposite of delay technically, but only by like a tiny little bit, just to make it a better release date. And I'm sure that they could still absolutely do that with their production schedule. So I think that would, I think that's maybe the play for Dune. And I think Avengers doesn't need to be as worried just because it still has that big A name. If they called Thunderbolts the New Avengers and it did the same box office as it actually did, maybe the Avengers name would lost its luster. But I still think this movie is gonna crush it. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a pretty certified B attached to. I think both the movies. Like I think that's kind of a safe given. But who knows? Maybe people really don't give a fuck anymore about MCU. It's been too long since the last Avengers, and they're like, "What the hell is this new Avengers? This is nothing." Robert Downey Jr. is not in this. Chris Evans isn't in this. This is garbage. Yeah, I mean, you make great points there. Chris Evans? Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, maybe. It's been rumored. We'll see.
I feel like I didn't realize how much juicy stuff is coming out in December there. Like they are kind of different audience ranges, but like even Avengers, like I kind of see that as a family movie, even though this one's going to be probably more serious and darker. I mean, even Infinity War is pretty dark compared to like other MCU stuff, right?
I wonder what the tone will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty abysmal, I think, by the end. I can definitely feel us or see us feeling very dour by the end of it, kind of.
Sure.
I don't think they want to just copy the same formula what they did for Infinity War and Endgame, but I still think Doom is going to be he's going to be winning, I think, in that first project, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, just like Shrek 5, Ice Age 6, like just a lot of family movies in that month.
Jumanji as well.
Jumanji. So yeah, families that already spent a lot of money on Christmas gifts and stuff for their youngins. We'll see if they're feeling was trying to say frugal, but I'm like, that's the opposite of what of the word I'm trying to say.
Anti-frugality.
Yeah. There you go. I like that. That sounds nice. And then in terms to like what you said about the Dune, like maybe moving it ahead, I feel like my thoughts on like Dune being delayed has nothing to do with them just trying to avoid a date. It's mostly, well, it might be a small part of it, but my initial thoughts is just something's gonna happen that it just gets delayed on like some crafting reason, like, oh, it's taking a little bit longer to finish up this project than we thought. I have no like references on why that would be. That's just my initial thoughts here, and we'll see if I'm right come December, but
we'll see.
We will see. Cool. Well, with that being said, some that was a rough. I might tweak that in the editing for how rough of a transition that was.
So if you're live on YouTube, you get to hear the raw version.
This is like SNL. Sometimes it's all live, and we just got to roll with the punches here.
Sometimes we don't. The problem is difference. We don't have cue cards. We have notes, but we don't have cue cards. So
no, exactly. You'll never see me, reading off a screen like the Ron Burgundy question mark additives or anything like that. But just all this talks of delays, projects being moved around, potentially getting room for other projects or anything, or just making it make more sense for where they're going to be aligning in the MCU story. We got some Spidey stuff to talk about, and that being, could this trend? I did it. I did the Ron Burgundy thing. I said the teleprompter. Oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. What impact will this have on Spider-Man Brand New Day? Not a great title. Will it move? Is this going to give us extra content? I probably should have read this before I started reading out loud. No Way Home was supposed to come out after Multiverse of Madness, but when that got delayed, they had changed stuff. And then, of course, the character of America Chavez, who's kind of just been in limbo. I was a fan of her in Multiverse of Madness. I was kind of excited to see what they're going to do with that character. And she's literally just been a ghost. I don't even, did she pop up in What If or anything? She wasn't the character Ghost, by the way. So
no, different than that.
No confusion.
Thunderbolts Ghost. Yeah, not the Avenger Ghost. She's a different.
Yeah, the new Avenger Ghost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I guess this was interesting. I never heard about this before. That apparently she was supposed to be in that Spider-Man movie, but then because of a Multiverse of Madness delay, it didn't really make sense. So they just cut her from that. Now, I don't know if they had. It's not like I don't think she had been scheduled to be on set for these 3 weeks or anything like that. It was just in the scripting stage at that point, so they could just pivot, which I think they do a lot of in the MCU. Those scripts are hot. They're ready to burn and ready to add pages, change pages, cut and paste, copy paste, pan, zoom, all that kind of stuff. They're ready to just shift it up. But yeah, so I guess good context here that of course with Doom. I keep saying just Doom, but with Avengers Doomsday being originally in May, and then Spider-Man was supposed to be kind of the epilogue-y sort of thing in the way that we had with Infinity, or with Endgame specifically, where it was it was May, and then it was Far From Home was in the July, so it was that 2 months after period. That was kind of what we had set up here as well, right? Doomsday was supposed to be in May, and then Spider-Man was going to follow in July, and then a lot of the rumors that we have been hearing were that a lot of the some certain characters, like maybe even Robert Downey as Doom, was going to appear in that Spider-Man movie, and that would be kind of an important thing for the story to bridge the gap between those two movies. And so with the delay of Doomsday, but not the delay of Spider-Man, what does that mean for that story? And I think they'll just kind of pivot. We have another rumor coming up here of another potential way the story could go. I think they'll just pivot. I don't think. And Sony might not even. I don't know if Sony has a say in that kind of thing. Of no, you got to shoot this movie, or we're gonna take the character away. I don't know how all that stuff works, but I think Spider-Man prints money. I don't think they're gonna delay it. I think they're gonna make it happen. Put it on the schedule. I don't know. I think that I just read that that's supposed to film in July, so that would be the same, a 1 year turnaround time, which I just said is not going to work for Avengers, and that's why they did the delay there. But maybe that movie just being simpler, less characters, less going on, maybe it's a bit easier on the VFX, and less people for potential reshoots and all this sort of stuff and scheduling. So who knows? Maybe that does get kicked and they continue with that, but I think they'll probably want to keep that just because looking at the schedule for MCU movies next year, that would be the only movie then Avengers in December. So if they don't do that, then they would they want to have some movie in the middle of the year. So I think they'll still keep Spider-Man there, because if not, they're just the the investors will be pissed because there'll be no money going into their bank accounts in that calendar year. So I think Spider-Man will stay, and we'll just see a rework of the script here. And if they're not supposed to film until like July at some point, that's not a long time to rewrite stuff. But they've probably had a lot of this in the works for a while and knew this delay was coming. Probably had backup plans in that event of that happening. So I think the Spider-Man thing will stick to its current release date, or maybe get a slight bump to August if they need a little extra time. But I think it's sticking, even if it was originally supposed to be a bit of a bridge movie between the two Avengers.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. In terms of just it being where it's going to be, it is a money printing machine. Spidey, I mean, that's like one of the other MCU films that made like $1 billion, right? In the scope of the MCU, that's not an Avengers title. There was triple the amount of Spideys in that movie, but still, it is a Spidey project, and printed the money really well there. And I'll probably never find out. Well, actually, that's a lie. I feel like like lately we've been getting like the initial script idea for this project, right? Like, and then you can kind of like read what their thoughts were or what they're planning on doing with certain characters, or like the inclusion or lack thereof characters in like the initial scope of what the movie's gonna be. But yeah, like what this initial thought of this movie, like when they had it structured, like how much actually got shifted with just kind of the overall temperature of the MCU right now, and what's happened around the new Avengers being the Thunderbolts, or maybe just even some previous titles. Because I do feel like, especially in Phase 4 stuff, like there was a lot of projects that were coming out, and it was just like, why are we spending time on this like right now? Like I get it. Like they announced the slate at the Investors Day or whatever, or Disney Day, whatever it was, and it's just like, these are the projects that are coming out, and what it feels like a decade later, it's like, hey, we're getting these projects now, and like people just are very lukewarm on the MCU, let alone these like really niche characters that we have no idea who they are. And it's like, well, like, why are we spending time on this when it seems like interest or other places of the MCU? Just a random thought experiment I kind of had the other day, but and now that we're talking about it, it kind of came to light again. But just in terms of Spidey and how much that, like, what they're going to be wanting to include in here that is key for something like Avengers Doomsday. And with all that being said, there's a C+ tier scooper that's supposedly said that Mark Ruffalo is set to have a substantial role in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Of course, Mark Ruffalo, the great and powerful Hulk, who, as we've last seen him, he is still Smart Hulk. I don't know if that's like the proper nomenclature.
That's not true, right? She-Hulk? Wasn't he just a regular guy at that point?
Oh, yeah, he wasn't green. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
He had his bracelet, right? And he could like control it.
I totally forgot about that. Yes. Okay. Good reminder there. I'm glad you're here. So then, yeah, he's changed since we've last seen him in like the Avengers or anything like that. But yeah, if he has a substantial role.
Yeah, the continuity of who Hulk is at different points in the MCU has been such a mess. Obviously, there was the recast, but even just like every movie, he's had some huge arc that we just didn't see. It happened off screen. Like such a, obviously there's a rights issue, which is why they haven't been able to do a solo movie, I guess. But yeah, it's pretty funny when you look at it in retrospect. So many other characters have really clean arcs. And his is just like random scatter shot every project. You don't know which version you're going to get.
It's like you get the book from the library and it's just missing like 3 pages, and it's just like, well, I don't know what happened there. And now he's not the Hulk. I kind of want to know that little substance there, and who knows? Maybe we'd get a little bit more context there. I feel like in She-Hulk, like just put it all on the bracelet. It's pretty easy. But in my mind, it just seems like a lazy way to not have to like CGI this character. But who knows? Maybe that's not the actual reason. And that's a little slight jab, but no. But yeah, just thinking about a character like that who is an original Avengers, like I feel like he could have some like very obvious ties to the Avengers event that's going to be happening, and like just that we're getting the little like C+ tier scooper rumor for this now makes me think that wasn't always the plan to have that character in there, and then maybe they're just trying to scope out the plan on having a smooth entryway into the Avengers, and maybe a character like that. I mean, Spidey's also been in the Avengers, so like maybe that theory is just kind of nothing. But I don't know. He just seems because he is that OG Avenger, I just see it being a little bit too much of a puzzle piece linking the two there. And maybe I'm completely off to lunch there, but who knows? Couple theories around the character. Oh, sorry. Do you want to add anything to what I just said?
Nope.
No. Okay, perfect.
Go ahead.
Got to make sure, don't be rude or anything. Cut you off. Some of the theories are college professor or villain, meaning, wow, that's a weird way to read that. For Mark Ruffalo's character, for Mark Ruffalo's character of the Hulk being a college professor or villain. What the hell is going? Oh no! Okay. Oh my gosh!
Finish the sentence. Finish the sentence.
I'm gonna finish the sentence. Theories: college professor
or
cue villain.
Cards. Am I right?
A la Mr. Negative unlocks Savage Hulk. So of course, Mr. Negative, you played PS4 Spider-Man. Great character in that game. I'm itching to get a live action adaptation of that character. I really want to see Mr. Negative himself on the big screen, especially just like the CGI potential around that character. It could be really bad, but I have faith. I feel like what they've done lately for like the big villains, they at least look really good. And I think that could be really enticing there. But I mean, if he somehow activates Savage Hulk to be back to like his OG self, does that like make Mark Ruffalo like a lot lesser of a role in that movie?
Yeah, I mean, once again, just how scattershot that character has been in the MCU. Yeah. It's like, yeah, sure, why not let him do this kind of thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder how the portrayal would be, or like what his characterization would be, or if it's really more about really just having that Hulk factor and be able to put him on the poster, and that being the selling point more so than like Ruffalo as an actor doing this cool performance. I think that kind of sounds like the direction this would go. Like, I don't know. I think it would probably be more of a surprise in the movie where Hulk just shows up out of nowhere and smashes a building, rather than like him and Spidey and Ruffalo, or like Tom Holland and Spidey like walking down the street, whatever, and then like he gets transformed out of nowhere. Like, I think that would be my guess would be that the surprise, or like his introduction in the movie, would be as Hulk, and that's what we get, and then maybe we get the resolution of it by the end of the movie, of course, where Spidey figures out how to cure him, how to save the day, that kind of thing. But yeah, we've seen something like this before, right? It's kind of like Civil War and just like the Winter Soldier in general, right? Just someone using mind control abilities to like make this guy go against our heroes. So we've seen something like that before. Obviously, it's like a different power level than the Winter Soldier, but Spidey's a very powerful character, so we could take something on like this. But it's interesting to hear this rumor. I mean, one, the timing of it is interesting, of like, okay, well, Avengers got delayed, so maybe they're back in the shop working on what this new script is going to look like, and maybe this is an idea. And then we talked about, I think it was on a Weekly Geek that me and you did, where there was that rumor at one point where there was in the one of the concepts for Brand New Day was that it was going to be Hulk and then Punisher also, like it was going to be Spidey and Punisher like taking down Hulk. So it seems like, okay, maybe this was something that really had potential, and they were considering the script, or they were even writing it, parts of it, that outline at the very least, and then things changed. They had the Avengers timing, they decided to pivot, and now they're unpivoting essentially and going back to this Hulk thing. So whether that means Punisher is to follow and we get that original storyline, or if it is something different and we focus on Mr. Negative and all that stuff, we'll have to wait and see. But it's always useful to think about these rumors, and when different rumors line up in certain ways, and it's like, okay, is that is there smoke? Is it where there's smoke there's fire situation, or is this just this new scooper C tier is like, oh, I remember that rumor from a few weeks ago, I'm gonna like recirculate that one, but I'm gonna copy the homework but like change it a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think it's a fun idea. It's an interesting concept, and for me, always, like, in terms of superhero stuff, just all time, I feel like it's like Batman, Superman, Spidey, and Hulk are like the four characters that just fucking crush it on merch. Kids even today still have like t-shirts of these characters, and they're so ubiquitous, and you put them on a poster, that's going to be a big deal. It's going to make a lot of money. And so I think putting the two MCU characters out of that four-man equation that I just mentioned and put Spidey and Hulk on a poster next to each other, that would crush it. That would, like, people would go see that. People would be excited for that. I think that would be really exciting for kids as well. I think it's just be like a fun thing for them, but also for us hardcore fans, like, okay, cool, we get interesting story dynamic here. So yeah, I think it's a decent concept, and I'm open to it. I don't think it's my maybe top request for a Spider-Man thing, but I just, because once again, I think the Mark Ruffalo of it all is like, man, this Bruce Banner character has gotten such a messy arc, and this seems like a really messy direction to go with him. But maybe it's well done. Maybe it could be done in a cool way. And if it gets me Punisher in Spidey movie, then fucking sign me up. I'm in. I want that.
You think he's calling him green, like he calls Daredevil red? He's like, hey, green.
Hey, bug. Yeah, just like really reduces them down to like their most essential self.
Yeah. I want to just hear John Bernthal's like in that dynamic with you got like the raging Hulk and then just Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's just
whenever this is a weird connection in my brain. Whenever I think of John Berthel saying, "Hey, Red," I think of that scene in I Am Legend when he's like, "What the hell you doing out here, Fred?" Like for some reason, it's like the same intonation in my mind. I always hear that when I think of Punisher yelling "Red."
It's a good little footnote to remind yourself of that. But yeah, and I mean, in turn, I really liked what you said about just the observation of like the shattershotness of what is Bruce Banner in the MCU. I really liked the Smart Hulk for how it was used, like in the Avengers movie. I thought it was fantastic. But I definitely think it's ran its course. And sorry.
Go on. I said say that again. You know the classic.
Oh, okay. Yes. You're memeing me. But you know, I think it's kind of ran its course. And if it just like keeps, I don't know. I think it would just be a little bit overdone now, and especially that like the scope of time that's passed since we've had Savage Hulk. It's as if we've had more Smart Hulk than we've had Savage Hulk in the whole scope of the MCU, right? Like when you look at it in like the whole scale. I'm not saying like individual projects.
Sure, I see what you mean.
But like just amount of time that's happened. Maybe it's tough to say that because there has been many different reasons.
Another angle I just thought of here is like, actually one thing that kind of immediately, I just talked about how I'm into this idea. I'm open to it. But I think one thing that makes it less exciting is like we just had Red Hulk like going off and popping off.
Right.
And so like, I don't know if we get like another guy who's like, you know, not thinking straight and, you know, different motivations here, whether it's the Red Hulk situation. I guess it's like kind of like leader is just, you just switch him out for Mr. Negative or whoever is doing that in the in the fucking Spider-Man movie. So many names and characters. So I don't know. Maybe it is a bit too close for something we just got. And I don't think that this would mean it's a recipe for failure in the way that Brave New World was not very successful. But, you know, Brand New Day, Brave New World, these are very similar titles. So maybe they just copy each other's script too. Who knows?
Yeah, I think I'm curious what's going to be happening with Red Hulk. Like how much of a hibernation that character is going to be making. I don't know if we'll really be seeing like Harrison Ford again.
He's locked up right now, right?
He is locked up right now. I think we'll definitely see Red Hulk no matter what. But I don't know. It's a tougher sell. The
you think we'll get him no matter what?
I think so. I think maybe I'm just like I'm manifesting it out in the universe because part of me is like I want to see green versus red. I want to see Savage Hulk versus fucking Red Hulk. Like that's just like the little kid in me that just wants to see big baddies just beating each other up on.
I'm picturing them
screen.
In a ring like we had in Thor Ragnarok or in that arena, but like the guy the announcer is just Punisher. In the left corner, red. In the right corner, green.
Girl, yeah, he's just like fucking
does his Bernthal scream,
and he just jumps in the ring too and starts fighting both of them.
Yeah,
he's such a savage.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I mean, like the probability of it is way lesser than the want. That like I said, like that's just what I'm trying to force out there. But I don't know. It just seems like a iconic character that even if like a good amount of time passes, I do think we'll see Red Hulk again. But yeah, I mean, let's talk again in a decade when we're getting ready for GB20. Let's circle back if we haven't seen Red Hulk by then. But
sure,
yeah,
I'll pizza bet you if you want.
Really,
I think Red Hulk's. I think Red Hulk's gone. We're not seeing Red Hulk
just ever.
Again. In this MCU,
I guess we need an expiry date on.
I'll say like until the MCU reboots, like until the MCU is dead and we like get it starting from scratch. I'll say there's no more Red Hulk, with the exception of like, okay, what if's done now? I guess that's not even on the table. Yeah. So I'll pizza bet you no Red Hulk ever again. We don't see him.
I will take that bet, and
okay.
I probably shouldn't because I just came off a really horrific loss that my defeater. You know, he
Pizza
took the
time.
high ground and didn't accept the pizza, but I will take that bet for you because
Okay.
I think it's a lower chance of it happening, but like still, there's something in me that makes me
I
think
just think that
we'll
movie
see.
ate dirt at the box
Yeah,
office. I don't think they care.
yeah,
They
no,
they don't look at
absolutely.
Harrison Ford anymore. That bombed Indy. They're like, this guy, he doesn't sell tickets anymore. We don't need this guy.
But I never said Harrison Ford. I just said Red Hulk, right?
Well,
Like just
what are you
the
gonna do? Recast Harrison Ford?
no. You're just gonna have Red Hulk in a movie. It's gonna be like when Abomination
Yeah,
is
but you
just
need his
Abomination.
likeness. You need his body. You know Harrison Ford's doing the mocap for Red Hulk.
No, he's not. Okay, that's not a part of the pizza bet. I'm
Okay,
bowing out
I'll
if we're
say
doing
yeah.
that.
I'm still good to say no Red Hulk because I think they would still
Just
want to
Red
use
Hulk. Okay.
his likeness and like you have to like pay him for that. I guess I don't know how that works. But
Okay, so
I'll say
by
no
GV
Red Hulk.
by GV20. So
No. I'm
in
saying by the MCU reboot. That's what I'm
oh
saying.
right. Okay. Okay. Yes.
That's my okay.
I'll take it. I'll take
Someone
it.
put that in the Discord.
Yeah.
Pizza bet. I'm saying no Red Hulk before the MCU dies. Kirkland
Okay.
says he's coming back 6 to 7 times.
I'm excited to hear people's thoughts on this in the Discord and otherwise,
Yeah,
because
let us
I
know.
have a feeling they'll be more aligned with you. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, that was
Red
kind of
Hulk,
everything
Savage Hulk.
with
Yeah.
this, right? Yeah, I guess maybe my last quick note here would be, Mr. Negative. I want to see that character as well. I think they could go a lot of different directions. I've still really only seen that one iteration in the Spider-Man game, and I think you could go a lot of different directions with it. Other than, of course, the Great Marvel Snap, where he's an iconic character in there as well. But yeah, I definitely want to see that character at some point. But I also think it doesn't need to be Mr. Negative that sets up this storyline. There could be any number of bad guys who unlock Savage Hulk, bring Justin Hammer back. Maybe he found a way to do it. Like I think there's a lot of different ways we could get it. So I think this I could see this happening even without Mr. Negative. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Spider-Man 2?
I still have not played
Okay.
Spider-Man 2. I'm waiting for like a nice juicy sale on it, which
Yeah.
maybe we'll finally get when I saw PlayStation's having a sale, a summer sale, whatever they call it.
That's very fair. I'm not going to say anything then, just for your own enjoyment of that story. But yeah,
Okay.
there's great game.
I've seen some
Phenomenal.
spoilers, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Is Savage Hulk in the game? Is that what you were telling me?
Yeah, that's where I'm going to win the pizza bet because he's in it. Yeah.
Dare you spoil that? I didn't hear that
Just
spoiler.
kidding. He's not in there. Or is he? That's a spoiler in and of itself by denying that. So I won't say anything there.
Okay.
Temperature check. Spider-Man, brand new day. I mean, I know you're just going to be excited for when the movie comes out like I am because we just love Spidey.
Who do you think I am? Some soulless fanboy here who just likes everything MCU? Huh? I'm critical. I'm critical.
But when it comes to Spidey, though, I feel like you're more positive when it comes to that. Like maybe not positive, like I'm gonna pass it no matter what, but like that pushes the hype meter. I think just knowing that we're getting close to a Spidey project. Am I correct on that? I mean, you never watched
counter
Friendly
argument,
Neighborhood Spider-Man, actually.
I did watch it, but I didn't watch it live. I waited. I didn't need to see it immediately.
But you're such a fan, you got in there eventually.
I did, and I loved it. So
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm a Spider, but I didn't play Spider-Man 2. I didn't have a PS5
True.
when it came out, so there's
But you do
there's
now?
asterisks on these things. There's Thunderbolts asterisks on these bad boys, but I am a Spider boy. But your question, my general temperature on Brand New Day.
Yeah, I know you're maybe not a fan of the title, but
Yeah.
just everything that we've heard, I think, and like it's nothing super concrete other than like some solid castings, the Sadie Sink inclusion. Just
the Sinkster.
all of these factors. Just a little temperature check. Here we are, May 2025, 27th, 9:05 Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, I mean, much like Bruce Banner, we've gotten all manner of rumors for this bad boy that it could be so many different directions. So I'd say I'm kind of mid lowish right now, just until we finally get something that feels a little bit more concrete. I mean, I guess the Sink thing is pretty concrete, but like we still don't even know her character, right? So it's like I don't know what direction they're taking it. So I'd say I'm kind of mid low right now, but once we finally get some more actual details, a little bit more casting information, I think that'll shoot right up there. I don't think it'll match No Way Home, just because how do you match No Way Home unless you bring those boys back? But I think as excited as I was for a Far From Home or a Homecoming, which I was excited for those movies. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you about the same? Are you probably a little bit higher? Maybe sounds like.
I think I'm medium. I think I'm like a fresh right in the middle. PH7, like it's nothing too exciting, but like that's what you want, at this stage. I don't want to be too acidic. I don't want to be too. Oh God, what's the other?
Basic.
Basic, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm more basic.
What
Actually,
a range, basic and acidic. Crazy shit.
Shouts out to.
What is the name of the
science and all
stick that you put in the thing to determine whether it is basic
Oh
or
God,
acidic?
I didn't even know it was basic. You think I know what the fucking stick's called? Come on now.
Oh, what is
It's been a while
stick
since I've been in
called again?
science. The
It's like a thermometer, but let me look
yeah,
this up.
the temperature checker of basic or acidic. That's probably the scientific name. I'm trying to buy some time while you do some
I don't know how to Google this efficiently.
yeah. Talk to text. It's a it's the acidity test.
Acidity. I don't know. Move on. You can move on.
Okay, we're moving on.
Yeah.
We're gonna close this chapter on the MCU stuff. We're gonna head to an ad break and be back to talk about a universe that I don't know what to call it. So we will figure out a name when we're back. All right, we're back. I still don't know what to call this other than Catching Fire. Is that the? Oh no, that's the title of a movie, not necessarily the.
That is the title of a movie.
Series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hunger Games. Is that what you're talking about?
Is that what the series is called?
The Hunger Games series?
I thought it had like how Game of Thrones has like A Song of Ice and Fire. Like that is the title of the book series.
Are you saying you didn't know this was called the Hunger Games series?
I didn't know that. I thought it had a different name. I thought it was like the. I mean, it has so many stupid.
Well, the last
subtitles.
one is called The Ballad of like Snowbirds and Alfalfa.
And to me, that's like a book
but
series title. That's not the name of a movie. Like that is the name of a collection of books. Like this is the Ballad of Songbirds and whatever we're calling it. It's just such a mouthful.
It's called the Hunger Games series, though. I can confirm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Even if not every movie involves a Hunger Game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think all of them do, right? Like, not all of them have the ring where everyone's duking it out. Right? The later ones don't, right? Because they're just like a collapse of society and it's just Katniss, like, sniping guards out in, like, the real world. I have not seen those ones. I've only seen the first two. So.
You haven't seen the back ones? They're really bad. Yeah.
Sold. Sold. I'll never
Not
watch
selling you on
them.
that one. That's basic one.
Are they bad because there's no Hunger Game in them, or are they bad for other reasons?
Really bad. The second one, or that's what we were saying. The second last one, I think it's one of those feelers where it's like
that was called Raising Fire or something. What was that one called? You said it earlier.
What did I call it? Catching Fire. There you go.
Catching Fire. Yeah.
I don't think that's what it's called though. I think that's the second movie. It's called Catching Fire. I think it was Hunger Games.
One of them is called Catching Fire. No
Catching
doubt.
Fire, and then it's like To Kill a Mockingbird or something like that.
No, you're thinking the
Mockingjay. There you go.
Oh, you're right.
Part 1,
To Kill a
Mockingjay Part 2.
Hunger Games To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah.
That's what like the epilogue should have been called.
That'd be crazy.
When they finally get rid of that Mockingjay that is Katniss Everdeen. But no, I wasn't a fan of them. I felt like the penultimate movie. It felt like how Deathly Hallows Part 1 is, where it's like this is probably a much better book than a movie adaptation. Just a lot of setup, a lot of like politicking and conversing, and I hated it. I really it was a hard one to get through, and I don't ever plan on rewatching that ever. Even the last one. I will rewatch Hunger Games. I like that movie, but it's like what you
When's
said.
the last
like
time you watched the OG?
The OG in full would have been when I did that marathon of like finishing them all because I just hadn't seen the last two. But I threw it on. Honestly, it's probably after Extra Life. I like get home and I don't want to sleep all throughout the day because we just were up for 24 hours.
But you're not talking about this last year. This was
this last
years
year.
ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
in November.
wow.
Yeah.
Super recently.
When
I watched Hunger Games most recently, it did not hold up for me.
Oh, okay.
The first one. So
everything about it, or just it aged. We're doing a little review
single
now.
Thing.
Right? Yeah.
No, just like cinematography, acting, action, pretty much everything. Actually, now that I think about it, pretty much everything.
I mean, I can't really give it much justice too because I threw it on after an Extra Life streams and I probably crashed like instantly. But
yeah, and you're delirious at that point.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just thinking about all the things we've been just screaming into the mic all night in the wee hours of the day. But if you're listening to this and you're wondering what the fuck we're going off about Hunger Games is, we got some juice to unravel here, and specifically casting juice around the title of the Hunger Games, Sun on the Reaping, which is a horrible
I think it's
title.
Sunrise on the Reaping, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, my note maker did not spell that right. So
The cue card. Whoever wrote the cue card. There's no one to blame here. Some intern who wrote the cue card.
And he will not be back, that intern, yes. So Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping, which is a title that I despise. I did not like the last title either. Ballad of Songbirds and To Kill a Mockingjay, whatever the full title was, part 3 or whatever. Did you see that last one?
No, I have not.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any...
Not many people did, I don't think.
Intrigue for... Some people did, because we're getting this one.
Taylor did, right? Taylor liked it?
I think it's a safe assumption.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's a safe assumption here.
Yeah.
I don't have much skin in the game when it comes to the series anymore. I feel like after that binge of the whole series, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is it. I don't think I'm going to seek out the books or anything like that. But I was kind of interested by this list here of familiar faces that we got. The cue card maker. I missed a Patreon question, so I'm gonna just address this right now. This was in the MCO realm. The great Dalton, who I apologize, Dalton, you've been in this episode with us, and I missed your Patreon question, which is, do you guys think we're getting Savage Hulk, Professor Hulk, or just Bruce Banner?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I would say Professor Hulk, long dead. We could throw a funeral and everything. He's long gone. I think we are going to get Savage Hulk for 90% of the movie, and then you'll get Ruffalo at the end when he's been cured. I don't think you'll get him early on in the movie either. I think he is Hulk, he is the villain, then you save him at the end of the movie. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think I would tend to agree with you there. I liked your setup of like when we were talking about how like maybe the first time we see him is like just Savage Hulk and like you don't really get what like how we got to that point, and then they fill in the cracks a little bit later. But I think I'll differ from you in the sense of that we'll get Bruce Banner at the end. I think it'll just kind of be Savage Hulk with maybe like a moment of Bruce Banner, but by the end of the film, I don't think it'll be back to Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner. I think it'll be the Savage Hulk that we know and fear and love. So yeah, there you go. Go to Patreon to address questions that we will not forget about, like I almost did today. So shouts out to you, Dalton. Thank you for your question.
The cue card,
to the Hunger Games and the sunrise on the reaping. Yeah, we got some juicy faces on this list. I recognized all but 3 on here. What about you?
Okay. I'm probably half and half, maybe.
Little halfers.
Little halves.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm not like super fond of the franchise in general. Like, I feel like for me, it's like, okay, that's a great actor in this movie, more so than like that's a perfect casting for this character for this reason, for portrayals that I've seen them do by different characters, and I can see them take that same finesse into the role. Like, I definitely don't feel that at all. I think part of that is also just because I've seen the whole series other than the prequel, but like still. Yeah, I don't have a lot of attachment or like fondness for these certain characters, but it's cool in there. I think the big one is, of course, the Plemster, the Jesse Plemons.
The Plems.
Rest in peace, the great, powerful Philip Seymour Hoffman. I feel like Jesse Plemons to me is like a distant relative of his in my mind. It's probably not true, but I just see isms to those two characters. They can be very scary and also
visually
not.
They got it. I think they definitely have some same energy, and I think Plemons has such range that I think he'll be able to capture Hoffman's performance there. So I think that's excellent. It's funny when I was looking at this, and a lot of them were like Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like, I feel like he's close to the same age as Woody Harrelson, but then like the two people cast in this prequel are like seemingly like significantly different ages. Like, it seems like this guy playing Woody Harrelson's character is like in his early 20s, and then. I think this came up recently as well with Plemons, that he seems a lot older than he actually is. So maybe that's counter-argument to myself right there. But some of these ages seem like very off for me, at least in terms of just like at a glance. But maybe they're way aged differently. I don't actually know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I feel like in Hollywood and movies, like just like costume and makeup can do such a good job at just masking like the age of the actual actor, making them look way younger or way older. That's happened a lot in the past with certain castings. So I not too worried about that. I mean, it would be odd if you had like a youngster playing Snoke. Well, that's not his name. That's the Star Wars guy. Goes to show how much I know of the series, but Snow, the Ray Fiennes casting character. So yeah, and
can I throw one at you because there's a character here. There's a character by the name of Wyrus, played by Amanda Plummer in Catching Fire, which I have not seen. Amanda Plummer of Pulp Fiction fame, right? So My Hawk is playing that version. So can you tell me about that? Like, is My Hawk a good? Is she gonna be able to portray that? Because I don't really know. The name Wyrus makes me think this character is very wiry. I don't know if My Hawk can do that.
Yeah.
I guess she kind of can. She played in the Anxiety in Inside Out 2 and did a great job of that. So maybe that'd work. But yeah, what do you think from actually someone who's seen Catching Fire? Do you think that's a good casting other than Maya just being an outstanding actress?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't like know too much in deep of the character just from what I've seen, and I feel like it's a role that Maya Hawke can definitely fill the shoes of. Yeah, she's a great actress. I can definitely see her like just being like a wiry character, but more so I feel like she can also just capture a younger version of that same character. Just with what. Yeah, I don't know, just my initial thoughts, I guess, of it there. Like to me, Wyrus was like a very like I don't want to say nothing character, but like she is a very side character in the overall story. So I'm just interested in. I don't know. That's a weird way to say that because I'll say I'm interested in seeing what they do with like the early stages of that character, but I probably won't even see this unless I hear like phenomenal things. So like my interest level isn't that high. But who knows? Like I think with the last one, it had some familiar faces for sure. In the casting, I believe Hunter Schafer was in there, so I was excited to see her in that. But like I never even ended up seeing it, so like I'm blowing smoke. I think with that, but at least for this casting list, there's a lot more familiar faces that when I see them in things, I tell myself that I want to see more of them. So am I kind of lying to myself if I don't seek this out? Because this is a great list. Like even Elle Fanning's in there. What's Macaulay Culkin's? Yeah, what's Macaulay Culkin's brother's name? He just won an Oscar. Kieran Culkin.
He won an Oscar? Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, best supporting. I'm gonna double check that because I'm not an Oscar follower, but I'm pretty sure.
He got it for a TV show, so he didn't get an Oscar, but he got whatever the equivalent is for TV. Golden Globe.
He did. Okay. Did you follow the Oscars? Like for sure he didn't.
Well, he got it for Succession, and that's not a movie, so that's why I don't think he won an Oscar.
He won Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Real Pain.
He actually won for that as well?
Best Supporting Actor, yeah.
Because didn't he get like a Golden Globe last year too? That's actually crazy. I think you're right.
What a run, eh?
Holy shit! I did not realize that. Wow, you blew my mind right there. I thought I caught you in a snag there, but oh my god, you snagged me right back. That's crazy. I still have been meaning to see that one. Yeah, seriously, I've been meaning to see that movie. I didn't realize he won an Oscar. That is absolutely insane behavior.
Yeah, because that's the Eisenberg directing one, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't have much interest in it. Like I heard it was really good. I don't follow the Oscars or anything. I think I just saw it on like a feed. I'm like, wow, look at that. Kieran Culkin. Attaboy.
Yep. Yeah. Attaboy. Yeah, no, that was the one that stood out to me here as well because since, he was on Succession for a few years there, building up his resume, people are like, God damn, this guy's actually a crazy good actor. And I've been excited to see like what he does when he dips into the movie realm and obviously freaking crushing Oscars. So he's messing up or just popping off. But I was really curious to see what his first role would be in like a big franchise thing, like I was considered casting him in our comic book draft and all that kind of stuff before. And so I'm a little bummed that this is like the franchise that he chose to go for when I feel like how hot he is right now. He could have not necessarily had any character, but could have hopped into any franchise, and he still can. Obviously, it doesn't lock him out, but it means he might be busy with this. And if they make a sequel to this prequel, I don't know if he'd be tied up for multiple projects. And since I'm just not really that interested in this, it's a bit of a bummer. But yeah, hopefully he crushes it. I don't know the character very well that he's playing, but that character is in that original Hunger Games, right? He's like the
Mhm.
forget what his role is, but he's the game's host, right? So I think he'll eat up that role. I think he's gonna be able to chew that scenery in a really fun way. So I think that's a really fun casting. That was definitely probably the highlight for me out of these out of the bunch.
Yeah, it was definitely on the like if I had to do like a top 5 of interest that I have for these, I think it's in there. I like probably Scott Pilgrim is like the only thing I've seen him in. Maybe like maybe there's some offshoot thing that I have seen him in there, but
Plus
like definitely
Home
not
Alone,
to the
of course.
extent of like the Oscar reign or Golden Globe reign. Like that tier of the actor.
Yeah.
But like just the idea of also the character that he's playing is like very zany and like over the top with like the ridiculous like fake teeth and just the makeup and everything. So just to put him in that role is going to be interesting. And like you said, just see him kind of, I don't know, take it by the reins and chewing up the scenery and doing all that is going to be enticing. Yeah, the other big one for me is the Ralph Fiennes casting of Snow.
Right.
It's interesting because like I don't really see, and I apologize because I don't remember the actor that played the original Snow. I should pull that up, but I like they look very different to me. like I think they're both great actors, but I just see them being a different type of actor, even though like it's an older gentleman that has like a very powerful presence to them when they speak, but like it's still a different category in my mind when I think of the two of them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be interested, and again, I keep saying this. Maybe I have to say this now that I keep saying it. I am interested in seeing the version of it because Ralph Fiennes is someone that I feel like like whenever I'd seen him in something. Is it Schindler's List? Is that really famous one that he's in?
Not
Maybe
sure.
a bad question to throw to you, but yeah, I like I
He was in Harry Potter. I can tell you that.
I mean, he's fantastic. Like I feel like I always appreciate him without knowing how much I appreciate him, and then watching something like The Menu that I didn't even really care for that movie, but I thought he just uplifted the material so well. Like without him in that role, he like I think it's just such a lesser movie, and he just has that powerful presence, and someone like President Snow should have that, right? Like he should command that just attention, and I think Rafe can definitely yeah, just fit that caliber bar.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like back in the day when we were in like peak high school days there, it was Harry Potter and it was Hunger Games that were just all a buzz in that kind of young adult film category, right? Where it's like just the YA category. Those two things were just absolutely crushing it. They were taking over the world. Everyone was talking about those. That was everything. And so the fact that he's like going to be now in this as well, so crossing over across these two franchises that were just so big in that point in time, I think it's kind of funny to see that he's just hitting up all these big franchises that kind of hit up that same niche. So yeah, he's done it before. He'll do it again. Yeah,
he absolutely will.
Yeah.
Any other ones you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, I guess I'll just mention them, but I don't know if I really have much to say. But Lily Taylor is playing Megs. We got
Nice.
Ben Wang playing Wyatt Callow. And
Ben Wang.
I think we've kind of mentioned all the other ones here. There's a couple of smaller ones. People I'm not really... I guess, do you know this guy, Joseph Zada, who's playing Haymitch, who's playing Woody Harrelson's character? Have you seen this guy before?
No, I didn't. Yeah, that one was I feel like because Haymitch is a big character from like when we jump into Hunger Games even, I'm expecting like a lot of juice around that character, and the fact that like I just don't know who this actor is, I'm like, okay, this is a potential MCU cast or superhero draft character, depending on how it goes.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't really seen his
He's been in 4 things.
Nice. 4
in
things.
his career. So he's fresh. He's a newcomer. So that's kind of a bold choice, but maybe he's great.
Yeah. I mean, Brad Pitt was once an unknown, right? And look at him now. He's Brad Pitt. So
yeah, you got to start somewhere.
just
Sometimes
takes
you just gotta
one
start in
Haymitch
huge
casting and
franchises.
you're
Yeah, exactly.
Right on. Any final thoughts? What's your temperature check on Sunrise of the Reaping and
Oh, I'm talking
Songbirds?
like negative
Part 3.
53 Kelvin or something. Like, it's not looking good over here.
It was minus 55 for me, and now that we've kind of gone through some of these castings, it's like minus 15. So jumped quite a bit, but still pretty low.
Speaking of Harry Potter, D-Told did ask in the chat there. What do you think of the new Harry Potter casting? I saw that was announced today, but I haven't actually seen who any of the people were. Did you get a glimpse of that?
I'll do a little screen share here for you, so you can do a live reaction. Terrible image. It's like not zoomed in at all.
Okay. Zoom in.
I'm doing it. Slow down.
Zoom.
There you go.
All right, so we got three babies.
3 babies. Yeah.
Do you know?
You hate it?
I don't know any of these babies. Is that it? Is there more people or just these 3 kids?
There might be more. This is the only 3 I saw, so I was just gonna.
Okay.
It's on my teleprompter. So
they look like they're best of friends already, so it's good. They look the part. That guy's got red hair, so come on, let's do it. We're good to go.
I love it. That was basically everything I was gonna say. I'm like, yeah, they look like kids.
They look like kids. Yeah. These actors are so good; they can portray kids. Yeah.
I think the one in the middle is gonna be Harry. One on the right might be Ron. One on the left might be Hermione.
You think so?
Unless they're feeling bold and really changing things up, maybe Harry's the one on the far right. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's Harry, Hermione, Potter, and then the one on the left is actually going to be Harry, depending on how much they want to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they look like kids. They fit the age for what these characters should be. Obviously, I've never seen them in anything before, and wish them nothing but the best.
Yeah, good for them. This is. Yeah. They're gonna be fucking billionaires by the time they're 21. So good for them.
And like I really have not paid attention to like the discussions online or anything, people's thoughts. Like I quickly saw some things in the Discord. Sounds like some people are pretty indifferent how we are, and. Like just people that are like getting upset over this stuff. It's just like, what the fuck did you want? Like seriously, did you want a clone of Daniel Radcliffe in here? Like I don't at all. I want to see a new up and comer actor or actress and like see what they can do and like just have them on the radar and be like, damn, this actor or actress is phenomenal for a young actor, maybe even better than what the originals were. Because I think that could absolutely happen. At least like the performance wise, I don't think
go back to those early movies. I mean, there's some iffy acting from those iconic characters.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like kind of become a meme now when I rewatch them of just like how goofy some of their reactions are. But look at this. We got the rare Patreon Tyler appearance.
Oh my
in here.
god, the doggo rides in from the from the hills.
I hope they have some therapists lined up for these kids. They're gonna get the most undeserved hate. Well said, sir. That's what I was trying to say. Is like just grown ass men that are just raging and like pissed off and trying to like. I don't know for sure, but like they're probably signing petitions to get these people recast because there's just people out there that are like that, which is crazy. I think they have probably mental health issues and way too much time on their hand. But like, fuck, man, it's happening. Get with it. It's ridiculous. Do not throw undeserved hate to youth actors when they are having the role of the life. Yeah. We'll judge the project when it comes out. That's when we'll tear them apart. But for right now,
on the review, we're legally obliged to tear them apart.
But for right now, yeah, absolutely. Let's just be happy for them. This is the role of the lifetime for them. And I'm sure they've seen Harry Potter. Maybe not. They're so young. Maybe they haven't even seen Harry Potter. But
I don't think. Do kids like Harry Potter anymore, or have they moved on?
That's a great question. That would be a question for people that have kids.
Roblox and Bluey. I don't know what else they like.
Yeah, they like. I think you caught it. I think that's all they like.
My nephew likes playing with trains, but
nice.
That's about it.
My nephew's.
He doesn't know anything about Harry Potter.
Probably into trains as well. Big into hockey. So.
Yeah, but not Harry Potter.
No, not at all. I'll ask him. I'm seeing him this summer, so that's the first thing I'll ask. And they probably won't know anything I'm talking about. My sister's a massive Harry Potter fan, though. Oh,
okay.
So maybe she's indoctrinating them into the Harry Potter cult.
What a way to put it.
Yeah. Is your sister a Harry Potter fan?
She
not
was.
massive.
I don't think she probably hasn't seen it since like she was in grade 10 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your nephew Sheldon? He is actually D-Toll. Do you know my little nephew? No, I'm kidding. That is not his name. He's not Sheldon. I imagine you're talking about The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon.
Oh, is he into trains or something? Is that?
I don't know. Never seen Little Sheldon. That show.
I was into trains. You were probably into trains too, right, Kirkland?
Absolutely. Thomas
Yeah, I think
Tank Engine. Yeah,
it's a rite of passage. You have to be into trains at some
it
point in your
is.
life.
Did you ever like have like the Thomas the choo choo train like set?
Oh,
I
yeah.
never did. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I had the off-brand
Moneybags
ones.
over
I don't
here,
know.
this guy.
Moneybag. No, I was firmly lower middle class. I lived in Rutland. Okay, you're in the glitterati of West Kelowna or
The
West
Glitterati.
Bank.
Hey,
back
I
in
grew
the
up in a
day.
trailer park. Okay, come on, that's different tier. It was a nice trailer park, but still, I grew up in that trailer park.
Like 7
right.
RVs stitched
Yeah.
together. It's just like a mansion of a trailer park.
The Human Centipede trailer park. That's the
Oh.
equivalent. Yeah. No, that sounds horrible. No,
That
that's.
does sound horrible.
I wish I could take that back. Maybe I'll
I feel
go
bad
back
for
next
kids
episode.
who were like existed before trains were invented because like they couldn't be into trains.
Yeah,
What were
what
they
would they
into?
do? Would they do like carriages?
They were into like dirt. I don't know.
That's one thing that never ends. Kids are still into dirt. You know,
Dirt.
They like to just play in
Dirt's coming back. I
sandboxes.
think. Yeah.
It's on its. Oh man, the stock of dirt is just it's up there. It's
I've been investing
yeah.
big time. Yeah.
After COVID, after COVID happened, dirt's on the rise.
Yeah.
People want to get out in the dirt. They want to ground themselves. That's actually a trend now.
Remember on
People,
Psychos, you were talking about digging ditches and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a big thing.
all right, we're calling it here.
We
This
need to
has
get
been a
out of here.
Fun episode. We're
This is-
getting
yeah,
goofy. This is
this
what
is
happens when
getting
we do
goofy.
2 back-to-back, just us episodes. But it's been fun. Thanks for joining
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Thank you, D-Toll, Tyler in the chat. We appreciate you. And you, listeners out there, we appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week, rest of your May. And until next time, we will see you there. Bye-bye.
Bye.